Strike is a collective refusal by employees to work under the conditions required by employers. Strikes arise for a number of reasons and every different seasons. Really a response to economic conditions, they ain't really a proposition. Strikes can stem from sympathy for unions. Illegal strikes include sit-down strikes that were just fighting for their rights. Strikes would be called for political reasons in most industrialized regions. Wait, that was kinda bad, let me turn it up. In some of the countries it requires specific efforts to be made. For what? To change the game for settlements to be made. That way strikes can be made, but on the other hand, some countries did not allow strikes to be made at all. Even they just want to play ball, they just want to get paid. How do strikes affect the company? Well, let me tell you, honey. Strikes trying to get the employer screwed. Workers want benefits, you know. They ain't paying for the food. The risk of strikes for workers digital. They risk loss of income because they ain't working. They risk it for the biscuit for more income. Replacements are lurking. Strikes risk injury for sure. The boss be hiring attackers. The workers were secure. They'd be clappers. Industrial workers of the world. What's that called? Oh yeah, by name Wobblies, a labor board founded in 1905. They were just 43 groups trying to survive. Capitalism they did not trust, while AFL didn't accept unskilled. Wobblies did with William D. Workers they killed. UGV Deb supported them, but then he dipped radical. Wobblies were the outcome, so Hayward started writing the script and led them to become a revolutionary org. But these tactics, recutting activists becoming climactic, getting arrested for their antics. Not to brag, the who's Joe? Joe Hill, that's who you know. Was the org successful? Hell yeah, it did. The org got vigorous in the mining and lumbering industry. You know who didn't want the US to participate in the war? The boys, but then became insignificant.
The NLU, National Labor Unions. We all know it ended up in ruins. The NLU relied on political action. With 500,000 members, it became an attraction. Between 1866 and 1873, the NLU would come to be a reminder throughout history that labor unions without rights can cause misery. They wanted to shorten America's workdays, and while the cause was noble, they didn't accomplish their aims. In the end, they fell short in the polls and fell apart without achieving their goals. Enough about them, let's move on from their failures, and instead talk about KOL, the Knights of Labor. Led by Lawrence V. Powderly and his gang of clowns, these fools really out here running the towns. With their big boy pants on and their labor concerns, they ruled the world but ended up burned. In 1877, their numbers boosted when railway workers went on strike because their boss was abusive. They used violent strikes and barbarism to achieve their aims and get rid of capitalism. It was a secret organization to protect the labor relations, but they weren't complacent and turned people into patients. The Haymarket riot was such a blast, they set off bombs and 11 people passed. A backlash against unionism, and the members got slayed, so the KOL died and the AFL was made. Yeah, oh baby, the AFL, American Federation of Labor, yeah, it was swell. AFL didn't focus on national issues, but instead wanted the right to bargain collectively for wages, benefits, hours, and working conditions.
Small companies were concerned, worried of employees joining a union that if all of them they turned, it was proven that they would be ruined, adding to their paper contracts to contract those who were union just so they wouldn't be ruined. Known as the O-Dog contracts, such were very compact, and so many did react. For now they couldn't act against employees who had spiked the constitutional right for fair working conditions in all their positions. The bosses didn't care, for all they thought was fair was to profit anywhere. In the day of 29, the market crashed and things weren't fine. The forces shifted in favor of labor. Let's organize, you and your neighbor. Franklin's New Deal was pro to trade, unlike those reps from World War I. In the day of 33, NIRA helped with recovery. National Industrial Recovery Act was fortified by National Labor Reactions Act, also known as the Wagner Act, which kept collective bargaining free, not mandated by the states to be. Back in the day of 35, the NIRA was no longer alive. The Supreme Court had struck it down. But don't you worry, don't you frown, because linkage in labor market benefits would cause most folks to benefit. Back in those days of labor reform, the people were happy with economic growth. The anti-union sentiment was gone, thanks to New Deal and Wagner Act.
Wagner Acts were empowered to decide. It just started in 1935. It established legal rights for workers to prevent them from being berserkers. To hear and resolve disputes is their way to achieve it. By preventing unfairness is to get rid of awareness. It was challenged in court, it had been in short, but the U.S. gave them support. It now became the NLRBD. because the court agreed from 1935 to 1937 the story will be told in heaven. Workers wanted to have rights so they gained some height. They needed to be bright to be able to get a fight. They had to create a unit so they can be cruising. They can't be losing, they gotta be moved. In the 18th century was the first attack to show their nation a big payback. Protesting a wage reduction will end in a big destruction. The formation marked the first trade. Millions of voices have been swayed. They made an orientation to emerge. Workers have created a surge. This union did evolve. Canada was even involved. However, this was for workers who were skilled. This means everyone wasn't fulfilled. It relied on citizenship. They couldn't help more, that is a clip. Created the rich and the poor. This still can't be ignored. Two distinct classes, different from the masses. One with struggle and one with finesse. One can be blessed and one full of stress. In 1830, workers began a party. It had effort to be so hardy. By gaining equal rights, the party was kinda tight.